Respectfully, to the President of the United States, specifically as it pertains to that statement, you're full of it. I'm going to look right here over the national airwaves and look the President of the United States in the face and saying you're full of it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So the title of this clip says President Biden is full of it. Hunter pardon. So this is a Stephen A. Smith clip where he is finally starting to realize, right, day after day, that the Democrats are full of shit. So we're going to watch this clip of him going off on Joe Biden for pardoning his son. Well, not necessarily for pardoning his son, but for coming up with all types of BS excuses. Stephen A. Smith actually supports Joe Biden pardoning his son. It's the fact that, one, he lied and said that he wasn't going to do it and he ended up doing it. And then also all of the excuses that he came up for Hunter Biden being prosecuted. So before we get into this clip, guys, please hit the like button down below. It really helps the channel out. And of course, if you are brand new, consider hitting the subscribe button and stay to the end. We're going to get into the comment section. Let's get into it.
In all seriousness, let me get to the first subject of business. I got some sports stuff to get into. I got some stuff in the hip hop world to get to as well. But I'd be remiss in neglecting to touch on this subject first. We're going to get started in the nation's capital, where President Joe Biden reversed course when it comes to his son, Hunter Biden. The president issued a full and unconditional pardon for Hunter, who faced sentencing this month for federal tax and gun convictions. The pardon means Hunter Biden won't be sentenced for his crimes, and it also eliminates any chance that he'll be sent to prison. In fact, the pardon explicitly grants clemency for the tax and gun offenses from his existing cases, plus any potential federal crimes that Hunter Biden may have committed dating as far back from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, which was just a day ago. The time frame is specific because it covers Hunter's work overseas with Ukraine, China, and other foreign business dealings, okay? Here's a part of President Biden's statement in regards to the move. Quote, "Today, I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making, and I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me. There's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough." End quote. Now, Biden's opponents, which include President-elect Donald Trump, have repeatedly said Hunter should be prosecuted for his activities in Ukraine and elsewhere. Respectfully, to the President of the United States, specifically as it pertains to that statement, you're full of it. I'm going to look right here over the national airwaves and look the President of the United States in the face and saying you're full of it. Not because you let your son off. Any decent father would do that.
You think he would have said this during the election if he did it while he was running? You think he would have said Joe Biden was full of it after saying that he wasn't going to pardon him, and then comes out and pardons him maybe after he wins? You think he would have said he was full of it? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He would have, because once again, these people are exposing themselves because they can understand and see the problems with the Democratic Party. Matter of fact, they've seen it this whole time. Him and people like Bill Maher and Charlemagne the God, or whatever he called himself. They've seen all the nonsense from the Democrats this whole time, but chose to ignore it and only focus on Donald Trump. And he's actually going to say that. He's actually going to say that.
Never mind the business dealings that was going on in Ukraine and China and other places. While you were vice president under the Obama administration, I'm not talking about that. This is not a complaint about Hunter Biden getting off. I said weeks ago, you damn right you should let him off. He's your son. And he's a recovering addict. And he's battled those demons for years. And the fact that you let your son off I totally understand. Donald Trump would have let his son off. Anybody would have. Or at least most people. I understand that. That's not the issue, sir.
Joe
The
Biden
issue,
lied.
and why I say you're full of it, is because of the excuse you gave. A simple statement. That's my son. I have the power to pardon him, to grant him clemency, whatever. That's what I'm doing. Y'all kick rocks. That'd have been good enough for me. That's your son. That's your son. That's your flesh and blood. That's your child. And as you pointed out, he's battled a lot of demons. He's gone through a lot. I get it. But what's all of that other stuff you said about? You highlighting the transgressions and talking about how, oh my goodness, if it were anybody else, it would not have been considered or classified as a felony. If it was somebody else, they would have got off. Well, you ain't somebody else. You were the vice president. And obviously, considering the crimes that he was being accused of, I understand the gun charge, I understand tax charges, but the things that they were investigating in terms of his dealings with Ukraine, his dealings with China, and whatever purported money was funneled to the Biden family, considering all of those things, those are valid things that warrant an investigation. And again, if you don't want it investigated and you want to let him off, President Biden, no problem. Just say that. That's my son. That's my son. That ain't what you said. You tried to highlight how innocent he is. Damn near called him a paragon of virtue. But what did you do to Donald Trump? See, we want to sit up here and everybody was afraid to talk about it leading up to the election.
Boom. You see that? You see that? Do you see that? Did you hear that? They were afraid to talk about it leading up to the election. Why were they afraid to talk about it? Because they would have lost viewers. They were relying on the propaganda that they were pushing because they believed that most of the country was left and they were pushing leftist propaganda. And that if they were to tell the truth and expose the Democrats, expose Joe Biden, and actually tell the truth, that they would lose their viewers, their money. That's why he said they were afraid to talk about it. He just admitted it.
And everybody was afraid to talk about it leading up to the election. Or even when we were willing to talk about it, we had to dance the dance. We had to go around, up the block, around the damn corner, come right back around and vaguely get into stuff. We had to point out the 34 felony convictions. We had to talk about the 2 impeachments. We had to talk about the abundance of...
Wait, why? Why did you have to talk about that? Were you told to talk about that? Why is he framing it that way? We had to talk about it. Do you hear that? Do you hear how he's saying it? We had to talk about it. He was told by somebody. He's not going to say it, but that's how he's framing it. I don't think he means to say it the way that he's saying it, but that is saying a lot. He said we had to dance around Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and the bullshit from the Democrats. He said we really couldn't talk about that. But when it comes down to the 34 felonies and all of the things that Donald Trump does, he said we had to talk about it. This is crazy.
We had to talk about the 2 impeachments. We had to talk about the abundance of allegations that took place, including an election fall and citing an insurrection and all of this other stuff. We had to talk about all of that. But conveniently, it was coming down the pike like a damn tsunami when you knew you were going to have to run against them.
Do you hear this? Do you hear this? Oh my God, this is crazy.
You didn't talk about this then.
Oh my God.
A matter of fact, you specifically said you wouldn't pardon your son before the election.
Wow.
You're announcing it now that we know that Donald Trump is coming in and about to be sworn in as the 47th president. You were intending to do this all along, which again is no problem, but it doesn't make you any less full of it. Because when you look at Donald Trump and how the Democrats went after him, You do understand that the Democrats are no longer in a position to say anything, right?
Duh.
You can talk till the cows come home. You whistling into the wind. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say right now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your party. Because when you pardon your son, going back on your word, telling the American people there was no way that you were going to pardon him when everybody and their grandmama knew you were lying but didn't hold you accountable for it. And now you've confirmed what people believed, that you were probably going to be lying about that very thing that you said you wouldn't do for your son. All you had to do was say, he's my son. I can't let him go to jail. What's the matter with y'all? Do I got to act like Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live? And another thing, and by the way, is that what I got to do? All you had to do was say, that's my son. I'm not sending him to jail. I have the power to pardon him and to bring him home with me when I walk away from the White House, ending my political career. I'm taking my son home with me. Everybody would understand that. That wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you. Instead, you had to try to come across like he was victimized because of you, like you're so innocent, like you're such a paragon of virtue. And as a result, now you've brought more skepticism in the direction of the Democratic Party. Why? Because you show you're no different than the other side, which you were accusing of everything. Y'all went after Donald Trump for everything but tying his shoelaces on the right way. You raked him through the coals. You threw him under the bus. You did everything to him. And I'm in no way trying to act like he's some innocent bystander in all of this. But when the word hypocrisy comes up, there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. This is just so fascinating what's going on in today's time. Fascinating to see the left just eating their own. But once again, I really don't believe that Stephen A. Smith is ever going to change his mind. I honestly believe he's going to still keep voting for Democrats. Even after saying all of this, I highly doubt that he's going to change his mind. But this is just so fascinating to finally hear these people tell the truth a little bit. And this is the truth. Once again, you heard him say, this is the truth that they have known. They had to dance around it. He just told you. They knew this. They probably knew the truth, probably about everything. Everything. And Stephen A. Smith was just saying the other day that he never believed that, Trump was never a racist, right? But he never specifically called out the left for lying about that. He never called out the left for lying about everything, including this right here. And he's only calling them out now. He said he had to dance around the truth. He was told to do this. He was told to do this by somebody, or probably by his pockets. But anyway, let's get into comments. So somebody says, Stephen A. Smith can speak freely now that the left doesn't have the power to cancel him. Somebody says he pardons him going back 11 years, exactly when he started working for Ukraine business. How convenient. Somebody else says 1994 crime bill, lock them all up, 2024, not my son. Somebody says, Stephen A. Smith, you voted for Biden. That's the sad part. He's going to continue to vote for Democrat. Somebody else says, did he care about anyone else's son or their addiction when he was putting the 94 crime bill, when he was pushing the 94 crime bill? Wow. Somebody said, I respect you touch the subject and not hide like Roland Martin. Nah, man. He still don't get respect from me. He still don't get any respect from me because, once again, he just admitted that he knew the truth the whole time and that he just chose to dance around it for whatever reason we don't really know. But he just admitted that he knew the truth. He knew this was going on. He said Stephen always speaks out of both sides of his mouth. 100%. Can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. But yeah, we'll just end it there. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Stephen A's take. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. Of course, guys, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. And if you're brand new, consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.